you're gonna start lying down. Bring your feet to the mat so your knees are bent, and walk your feet nice and wide on your mat. So your feet are probably on the outer edges of your mat. You could even go a little bit wider if that feels good. And then let your knees knock in towards each other. If you have any pulling or any discomfort in your knees or your outer knees there, running along your thighs, or any kind of pain, and you want to bring your feet a little bit closer together, feel free. Or you can just play around with where your feet are to find a more comfortable way to be. You're probably not going to get a huge amount of sensation here, but you might get a little bit of a stretch running up along the outer hips. But if not, that's cool too. Let's take the arms and reach them out wide into a T shape. Turn the palms to face up. Close your eyes just for a moment here. We're going to take 5 deep breaths. We're going to start with breathing in through the nose. And then open your mouth and sigh it out. Not a super dramatic sigh. Let it be like a release. Okay, so 4 more. Deep breath in. Three more. Inhale. And last one. And then allow your eyes to blink open here. Separate your knees. So keep your feet as wide as they are, but separate your knees so that now they're as wide as your feet. And then let your knees drop over to the right. And keep your legs apart, so when your knees drop, you'll feel the outer edge of your right leg coming down, and then that inner edge, the inside of your right thigh, coming in the direction of the mat there. And then bring your knees back to center, and then take them over to the left. Let's just do that a couple of times. Nice and easy, nice and slow. And we'll use the breath here. So the inhale brings the knees back to center, and the exhale, bring the knees to the side. And inhale to center, and exhale, other side. We'll go one more time, both sides. Inhale, exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Then bring your knees back to center. Walk your feet to about hips distance apart, and then take your hips over towards the right edge of your mat, and let your knees come over to the left. Now this time, your right thigh is going to be on top of your left thigh, so you can just rest it down. It doesn't need to touch, but it's stacking over. So you're rolling onto the left edge of the body, but we want to take the back of the right shoulder back to the mat. So take some weight back into that right arm and shoulder. And you could turn your head here over to the right if that feels good, or just resting the back of the head back, that's good too. And just a few deep breaths here. Feel that breath expanding into the right side of your rib cage, maybe into the back body. Maybe feel that breath moving through your belly. And then bring your knees to center. Take your hips now all the way over to the left side of your mat, and then drop your knees over to the right. So same thing, this time we're rolling onto the right side, but then take the weight back into the back of the left shoulder and the left arm. And then if you wanted to turn your head to the left, you can do that. Otherwise, just looking straight up is good too. And then notice how the rib cage expands with the breath. Okay, and then bring your knees back to center. Bring your arms in nice and close, and then we're going to come up onto the elbows. So prop yourself up onto your elbows. Your knees are bent here. Feet are flat on the mat. And then cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And I want you to make sure that you're not sinking down into the shoulders here. So try and press down into your elbows to feel your chest lift up even higher than your shoulders. So your shoulders drop back and your chest lifts up. And then let your legs drop over to the left. So the bottom of the right foot comes down towards the mat. And then really press the right foot down and aim your right knee up towards the ceiling. So if it's trying to dip in there, really press down into the bottom of the right foot so that the knee faces up. And then bring your legs back up. So you've still got your right ankle crossed over that left knee. But now we're going to come up to the hands here. So when you come up to the hands, depending on how tight your right hip is, you might find you want to take that left foot a little bit further away from you here to give yourself some more space. You might find you can bring the left heel in even closer to the body. But what I want you to do is keep your hands back behind you so you've got a little bit of a lean back into the hands, but push down. So again, you feel your chest coming in front of your shoulders, right? So shoulders back, chest forward. And you want to keep that right knee guiding away from you rather than coming in towards your chest, right? You're pressing that right knee away. Keep the right foot a little bit flexed there. Take just one more breath there. And then uncross that right leg, come back down onto your elbows. Again, pressing down so your chest is lifting. Then we're going to cross the left ankle over right thigh. We're going to press that left knee away, flex the left foot, then drop the legs over to the right, press the bottom of the left foot down, and aim that left knee up towards the ceiling. All right, then come back up, bringing the legs back up. Then we're going to come back to the hands. No two sides are the same, so this side might feel tighter or even less tight. So if you need to move the right foot away or if you want to bring it closer, do that. But press into your hands, lift your chest. Like you're trying to lift your chest over the top of your shin there. Keep that left knee pressing away from you. A little bit flexed in the left foot. And then come back onto the elbows. Release your left leg. Come all the way onto your back here. And bring your knees up into your chest and give them a hug in. Take a little rock side to side. And then put your left foot down on the mat, extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. Right leg does not have to be straight here, but we're just gonna go as long and as straight as is accessible and no more. Bring your hands and interlace them behind your right thigh, and you can stay nice and low. If the hamstring is tighter, you're gonna want the hands even lower. If you have a little bit, I knew this was gonna happen. Stay there, keep stretching, just a package. Got that right leg up, hands behind the right thigh. And if the right hamstring feels really, really tight, you can kind of just give it a little bit of love back there. A little bit of a massage into the back of the right thigh, into where you feel the most tension. And then let your leg come to a comfortable place, interlacing the hands back behind. And then let's just rotate that right foot, really big circles so you feel the rotation of the ankle. Go 3 times in one direction and then switch directions. And then relax the foot, bend the right knee and bring the right knee down. So have your hands behind your right thigh and pull the right knee. So you're like pulling the right knee into your right armpit. So your right thigh is coming kind of towards the right side of your rib cage, right side of your torso there. Now pull down, Flex the right foot so that the bottom of the right foot is facing the ceiling. Left knee is bent, and we're going to roll to the pinky edge of the left foot so that that left knee drops out. And we're doing that so we don't roll all our weight to the right, right? We're going to keep some of that weight distributed out to the left, and we're going to pull down on the back of the right thigh. Now, keep your left hand where it is and reach up with your right hand and grab. See what you reach really easily with your right foot without having to lift your right shoulder or lift up the head, right? See what you can grab onto really easily, whether it's the outer ankle, maybe the pinky edge of the foot, or maybe you're happiest just keeping the hands behind the thighs. That's cool too. But wherever you wind up, we're gonna pull gently down to bring that right thigh down closer to the mat on the right side of the body. So it's not touching, but we're bringing it in that direction. Some people it might touch. I can't show you what that looks like though. Find my breath. Okay. And then just for a moment here, we're going to keep the left leg as it is and just match it with the right leg. So bring your right leg down. Your soles of your feet are together and your knees are knocking out wide. Just take a moment there, letting the knees open out. And again, if you're getting a lot of tension or a lot of uncomfortable sensation in your inner groins there, you can kind of just massage away some of that tension. Okay, then bring your knees back up. Right foot's going to stay on the mat. We're going to extend the left leg up, and again, straight as is accessible. Interlace your hands back behind the leg and just find that comfortable place to be. And if it feels really, really tight back there, and you know, it can feel tight for a lot of reasons. You could have tight hamstrings because you've done a lot of running, a lot of walking, a lot of gym stuff, or you could also be really tight because you've done a lot of sitting. So just let your hamstrings, just forgive them if they feel a little tight, and just give them some love. And then interlace your hands behind your leg, so leg is relatively comfortable there. And then let's rotate the ankle, big circles. Go 3 times in one direction and then 3 times in the other direction. Really big circles there. Okay, and then relax that foot, and we're going to start to pull that left knee. Now bend the left knee and pull the left knee towards the left armpit. So it's coming out to the left. Pull down, roll to the pinky edge of the right foot so the right knee drops out to the right. And then use your left arm and grab whatever you can grab a hold of there without straining up to reach anything. And then pull down to bring that left thigh closer to the mat next to the left side of your rib cage. Try to keep the head and the shoulders relaxed here. No stress. Okay, then we're going to release that left leg, and we're going to give it another moment in Supta Baddha Konasana. You're going to bring that left leg down, soles of the feet together, knees knock out wide. And just a few deep breaths here. In and out through the nose if you can. If you're feeling congested today and breathing through the nose isn't an option, just breathe through the mouth. Okay, so let's bring the knees together, and we're going to bring the knees up into the chest, and we're rocking up to a seat here. So come all the way up to a seat, and then swing the legs around behind you, and we'll come into a tabletop position onto hands and knees. Hands under the shoulders. We're going to start by, oh, somebody else has joined us. Hello. Taking your right arm up to the sky. Reach your right arm all the way up. Turn your chest up to the right hand. Then thread the right arm all the way under the left. Reach as far away as possible. Rest down onto the back of the right shoulder and the right side of the face. And then press down into your left hand, which is probably in front of your face there. Press down so you roll even further back onto the back of the right shoulder. Then take your left arm, reach it up to the sky, turn the left palm around back behind you, and then wrap that left arm around back behind you. You might find that you rest the back of your left hand on your bum or your hip, or maybe you grab a hold of your right thigh. Just keep your head relaxed. Think about turning the chest up towards the sky and getting that left shoulder out of the way so the center of your chest can see the ceiling. Okay, and then release that left arm. Put it all the way back down in front of your face and then press back into your tabletop. Then we're going to take the left arm and reach it up, turn your chest up to the left. And then thread the left arm onto your right, reach as far away as you can, then rest down onto the back of the left shoulder, the left side of the face. Right hand presses down so that you can roll further back onto the left shoulder. Then right arm reaches up, turn the palm around back behind you and wrap it around. And again, maybe you grab the thigh, maybe you rest on the low back. But think about the right shoulder lifting up and back so that the center of your chest faces the ceiling. One more breath there. And then release the right hand, press back down, you'll come back into a tabletop. So bring your knees nice and wide there, and then bring your big toes to touch. So you want to make sure you're sitting with your knees wider than your hips, so knees facing out towards the edges of your mat. Sit your bum back towards your heels and then come down onto your elbows here. So then interlace your hands together, lift your hands up away from the mat, interlace your hands, and then walk your elbows away. Walk your elbows as far away as you can get them without taking your bum with you, right? So keep your bum sitting back to your heels. Walk the elbows away. You'll get a nice big stretch under your shoulders, into your armpits. And then when you can't get anywhere, when you're in like a nice, good, solid stretch there, bring your forehead down. Just rest there. One more breath. And then release your arms down. You can separate your arms, let your elbows bend there. Stay sitting back on your heels there in child's pose. Another big breath. And then start to walk your hands back towards your knees. And we're going to sit on the heels here. If that's no good for you, if you can't sit on your heels like this, feel free to sit with your legs extended out in front of you. That's fine too. If you can sit on your heels for a few minutes, we won't be here for too long. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Bring your right hand out to the right, walk it away, and then take your left arm and you're going to reach it straight up towards the ceiling. We want the chest here starting to turn up towards the left hand. So start to turn the front of your shoulders and the front of the chest up. Then turn your left palm to face over your head. And then if you can keep the chest facing the ceiling and bring that left arm over your left ear, go for it. But if you start to find that you turn, that your chest starts to turn down towards the mat, then keep your hand up a little bit higher rather than trying to reach over the left ear. Big stretch along the left side of the body. Keep your left bum cheek grounded down. Relax your head. There's nowhere that you need to look. Then come all the way back up. Walk your left hand out to the left. Take your right arm up to the ceiling. Turn the palm to face forward. Then reach back. So again, you're turning your chest up towards the ceiling. And then if you can keep reaching that arm without turning the chest down, then keep moving that arm over your right ear. But if that doesn't feel good, or if you find it really tight and you're turning over to face the mat, then just come back and hang here so your chest can face up. Relax the head. Take one more breath. Okay. And then let's come all the way back up to center. Take a big roll of your shoulders back in space, and then we're going to come off the feet if you were sitting on your heels. If not, we're going to swing it back around and come into a tabletop again. So from here, we're gonna take the knees under the hips. You wanna make sure your knees are under your hips, meaning we don't want the hips to come forward and we don't want the hips to go back here. So your hips are gonna stay in a straight line over your knees. And then you're gonna start to walk your hands forward and wide. So you can walk your hands out towards the outer edges of your mat. You could even grab a hold of the outer edges of your mat, the corners of your mat if you want to. Keep your bum where it is. Now turn the bottom of your bum up to face the ceiling and drop your throat down in the direction of your mat. So it doesn't need to touch. We're just dropping it in that direction. When you start to feel that stretch where you're like, oh yeah, there it is, then you can hang there for a moment, or you can take this dynamically. You can lift out of it so it's not too intense and then drop back in. Lift out and then drop back in, sending the chest down, bum up. We'll do that one more time. Come up and then down. Maybe your forehead comes to rest down here. Take a deep breath. And then let's come back up, walk your hands back, and we'll come back into that tabletop. Okay, so let's tuck the toes under here and sit the hips back to the heels. Walk your hands all the way back to your knees and then lift your knees up into your chest. You can take your knees wide there, or your knees can stay in. That's fine, whatever feels most comfortable. Your heels aren't going to touch down here. We're going to let the body round over the knees. Walk the hands forward. Inch those fingertips forward. And then rest your head down, chin coming down towards your chest. So we want to let the heels drop down so we get a nice stretch through the calves. So rather than lifting your heels up, we're going to sink them down, but they're not touching, because then we take all of our weight back and we lose the stretch. So we want to keep the hands forward so there's some weight coming forward. One more breath. And then walk your hands all the way back towards your feet. Start to lift your hips up, walk your feet a little bit wider. So let's go almost as wide as your mat there with your feet. Soften your knees. Grab onto opposite elbows and sway side to side a few times. Keep your knees nice and soft unless the hamstrings feel really open today. Relax the head down, shoulders heavy, arms heavy. And then come to center, relax your arms, roll yourself up to stand. Come all the way up, roll your shoulders back. And then bring your feet to about hips distance apart. Interlace your hands back behind your head, elbows out wide. Root down through your feet, hug your kneecaps up so your thighs are really engaged here. And then pull your navel back. So it's not like sucking in your stomach, right? But it's like drawing back and finding engagement. So if you imagine you've got a zipper, maybe you do have a zipper, coming from your pubic bone up to your navel, and we're just zipping up there to find that gentle engagement there, okay? Soften the front of your rib cage back so we're not sticking the chest forward. And then rest your head back into your hands. So this isn't a back stretch. This is a big stretch for the chest and the shoulders.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Siri. This is a stretch for the shoulders and the chest rather than the back. So we want to keep it out of the back by keeping the belly strong, the rib cage soft, and then rest the head back into the hands. Root down through your feet. Stay strong and grounded. Take one more big breath. And then reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Bend your knees a little bit there. Turn your palms away from each other. And then we're going to start to come down, fold. Let your hips move back, chest forward. Reach your arms back behind you and then come down back into a fold. This time we're going to let the arms dangle, let the head dangle. Knees again, soft as you like here. You can have a big bend, you can have a little bend, you can have the legs more extended. Relax the head, give your head a little shake out there. Yes and no. And then we're going to start to bend the knees, coming coming back into that squat shape. So you can let your heels lift and then sit down. So let's sit with the legs crossed here. We'll start with the right in front of left. And find yourself in a comfortable seated position. If a seated position is not comfortable for you with sitting with the legs crossed and you have a book or a pillow, you could sit yourself up on something a little bit higher. We're going to sit up nice and tall here, and then bring your hands out in front of you. And you might find that if you bring your hands out in front of you, you round, and the middle of your back starts to kind of round back behind you. So another option here to keep that length is going to be to bring your hands right back behind you and press down to sit up nice and tall. So you might find that this is where you stay. If you bring your hands in front of you and you still feel relatively long along your upper body, then maybe you find that you can walk your hands forward and fold into this a little bit. Your hands can stay out in front of you with your head up, or you might bring your forearms down, or you might find you can bring your head towards the mat. Another breath. And then walk your hands back. We're going to lean back a little bit. We're going to uncross the legs, keep the legs up, okay? Then cross the left ankle in front and come back into a cross-legged seat. So opposite side now. Same thing again. You might find your hands back behind you is the best option because that's going to let you sit up nice and tall. You might find you can keep that length and come forward. No two sides are the same, remember, so you might experience something really different on this side. You can walk your hands forward as long as you keep that length in the back. We don't round. Maybe you come to the forearms. Maybe you walk the hands all the way away. Another big breath. And then walk your hands back. Once again, we're going to lean back. You're going to lift the legs up, find a little balance there. And then let's put the legs down. And we're going to sit however is most comfortable. So if you can sit back on your heels here, you can sit back on your heels. If you're more comfortable sitting with your legs crossed or legs extended, or even in a chair, anything, you can finish this practice in any way that you like. Just sitting up tall, that's the most important thing. Rest your hands into your lap and drop your chin down towards your chest. Take a deep breath in. Visualize that you can direct that breath right to the back of the neck. So any tension maybe you're experiencing in the back of the neck, you're going to start to feel the breath moving through that tension. Exhale it out. Then bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Drop your shoulders down nice and low. And again, big breath in. This time we're going to visualize, we can imagine we can bring this breath right into the left side of the neck and any tension there. And then head back to center and bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. Shoulders nice and low. Big breath in. Visualizing the right side of the neck. And exhale. And then bring your head back to center. And we're going to take 5 deep breaths here. But this time we're going to keep the breath through the nose, in and out. Nice and smooth and slow and soft. The slowest 5 breaths you can take. Let's take 2 more breaths here, nice and slow. last one. And then bring your hands together, bow your head. Namaste.